What up, everybody? This is JP from Off the Ball Network, giving you a recap of Week 11 of the college football season and everything. Before we get into the recaps of a wonderful college football weekend, make sure you subscribe down below to Off the Ball Network for all your sports needs. Follow us on our social media platforms and also check out offtheballnetwork.com. Articles, podcasts, everything you need is on offtheballnetwork.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and shout out to the people from Off the Ball Network doing their thing and everything. Hey, we want to be the best four-letter sports company in the world. So let's go ahead and get into this recap right here from this weekend. So we had North Carolina going against Pittsburgh, and North Carolina losing to Pittsburgh 30-23. Kenny Pickett, 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, scoring 25 out of 43. Shout out to Antron Green from UNC with 2 touchdowns, 108 yards. So Pittsburgh made a furious comeback, after recovering from last week's game losing. So but they pick up the victory, and it was an overtime game too as well. So it was it was good. North Carolina had a comeback, after the after Pittsburgh was defeating them in the first half, and North Carolina had a really great comeback but survived in overtime. Then we had Cincinnati versus South Florida, number 5 Cincinnati. Hey, 10-0. 45-28, Desmond Willow, 31 out of 39, 34 yards, 2 touchdowns. Definitely going to be on the Heisman watch for sure. Ryan Montgomery, 2 touchdowns, 72 yards, 6 carries. Pretty much iced the game with that impressive touchdown one he had. Georgia versus Tennessee, which is a really good game. Tennessee quarterback, a really good quarterback, Hooker and Bennett going at it too as well. But Georgia had the better team, 41-17. James Cook, who I've been very impressed with, 10 carries, 104 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hendrick Hooker had himself a pretty good game, 244 yards, a touchdown, 24 out of 37. He looked good at the beginning. Cedric Tillman from Tennessee, 10 receptions, 200 yards and a touchdown. But Georgia was, they're undefeated, they remain perfect and everything. So definitely shout out to Georgia. Then we had Alabama versus New Mexico State. Wasn't much of a game, pretty much. 59-3. Bryce Young, 5 touchdowns, 270 yards. Brian Robinson Jr., 99 yards, 2 touchdowns on 9 carries. Jameson Williams, 158 yards, 3 touchdowns on 6 receptions. So yeah, pretty much not really much of a game. Let's go to the next game. 38-24, Oregon defeated Washington State. Anthony Brown, 123 yards, a touchdown on 17 carries. Purdue versus Ohio State. This is the game where you think Purdue might pull up another upset, because they beat 2 number 5 teams in the college football at that time when they were ranked and everything. So you would think that they might pull off something against Ohio State. But Ohio State defeated them 59-31. Pretty much, CJ Stroud himself a really good game. Threw 5 touchdown passes. Jackson Smith-Njigba, 139 yards and a touchdown on 9 receptions. Adrian O'Connell, shout out to him, going 40 out of 52, 390 yards and 4 touchdowns. But they can't be Ohio State. Ohio State scored pretty much 45 points. Oh, goodness gracious. 45 points in the first half, so it was pretty much done after that one. Then we had Michigan versus Penn State. Michigan barely pulled off the victory, 21-17. Kate Manoa, 217 yards, 3 touchdowns, going 19 out of 29. Haskin, 31 carries, 156 yards. They barely beat Penn State, but Penn State's still a pretty good team, even though they've been having a struggle recently and all that, so too as well. So, but yeah, they barely picked it up. They barely won that one. Then we had Michigan State versus Maryland, 40-21 Michigan State. Kenneth Walker III, he's been unbelievable this season. 30 carries, 143 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jaden Reed, 8 receptions, 114 yards and 2 touchdowns. Oklahoma versus Baylor. This is quite just a shocker that Baylor picked up the upset of Oklahoma, giving Oklahoma the first loss. Caleb Williams didn't have himself a really good. He had a bad game. They had to put in Spencer Rattler in. 2 interceptions, 146 yards. They pulled him off and everything. So they just didn't look good. They just didn't look good at all. So Notre Dame versus Virginia wasn't much of a game. 28-3 Notre Dame. Going by Karen Williams, 70 yards, a touchdown, 14 carries. TCU versus Oklahoma State, 63-17 Oklahoma State. Spencer Sandals, 17 out of 25, 235 yards and a touchdown. Dominique Richardson, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns on 12 carries. Ole Miss versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M lost to Ole Miss, 29-19. Matt Cord, 247 yards and a touchdown. Shout out to Juwan Ely, 152 yards on 24 carries. We got Wake Forest versus NC State. This was a high-scoring game, Wake Forest picked up the victory, 45-42. Devin McNary had himself a really good game, 408 yards, 4 touchdowns. So did Sam Hartman too as well. Justice Ellison, 56 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, it was a really high-scoring game. It was a high-scoring game. It was a really good game to watch. No defense played, but it was still a really good game to watch. Mississippi State versus Auburn. Auburn loses to Mississippi State 43-34. 6 touchdowns from Will Rogers, 44 out of 55, 415 yards. That is just embarrassing to have somebody throw for 6 touchdowns. Woo, man, just wow. Wisconsin versus Northwestern, 35-7. Wisconsin. Graham Mutz, 216 yards, 2 touchdowns, going 18 out of 23. Braylon Allen, the person of the game, 3 touchdowns, 173 yards on 25 carries. He was unbelievable. Then Iowa versus Minnesota, barely picking up the victory. Iowa barely picked up the victory, 27-22. Alice Padilla, 206 yards, 2 touchdowns. San Diego State versus Nevada, 23-21, very close game. Very, very close game. And then we had UTSA versus Southern Miss. UTSA is undefeated in their conference and also undefeated of the season, 27-17. Frank Harris, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns, going 17 out of 30. Shout out to Joshua Cephas, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. Frank Gore Jr., shout out to him, from Southern Miss, though, 123 yards, 1 touchdown, 20 carries. But UTSA is still undefeated. It's unbelievable. So they finally ranked. Congratulations to them. Utah versus Arizona. Utah, 38-29. Cameron Rising, 294 yards, 2 touchdowns. TJ Pedler, 25 carries, 119 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Arkansas versus LSU, 16-13 Arkansas. And that was your college football of the weekend. South Dakota versus South Dakota State. That last play, shout out to that game, because that last Hail Mary play, I mean, that was just a thing of beauty right there. That was just a wonderful play. If you haven't checked out that Hail Mary in that game, check out that Hail Mary. Comment down below your biggest winner, your biggest loser, your favorite game, the most shocking game. Definitely subscribe to Off the Ball Network for all your sports needs. Follow us on our social media platforms, and also check out offtheballnetwork.com. We got everything you need on offtheballnetwork.com. I'm JP, and we'll see you later. Peace.